Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our daily NBA pick show that we've been doing every day with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Today is Monday, March 2nd, and we had kind of a crappy Friday, but our overall records are still good. I'm 18-12 against spread, and Joe Duffy is 18-15 against spread in our show. These, of course, every day are not his top picks. His top picks are for pay at his website, OffshoreInsiders.com. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Loshak.
All right, Joe Duffy, you took a tumble on Friday. You had that great theory that you thought might prove to be predictive. At least on that day it wasn't. You're now 18-15 against spread in our show, but these are your secondary picks every day, not your top picks. What do you have to say about your record going forward? Do you think it's going to be profitable?
Oh, absolutely. I got 28 years of public plays to prove that. Look, I'm always looking for new clients. I'm a smart businessman, so I know that the free picks got to win as well.
Yeah.
That's no problem. We're going to do that.
All right, so tell us quickly how things have gone with your top plays at OffshoreInsiders.com before we get in today's five-game card.
2-0 yesterday in the NBA. We got an NBA Wise Guy play for tonight, plus a college basketball winner, all at OffshoreInsiders.com, tracing our roots back to the Score Phone days. Not in the Score Phone days, I was given the nickname Mr. March. So
really?
This is my time of the year.
Uh-oh, Mr. March. And guess what month it is right now? March. All right, well, first NBA card of March for us in this show. I'm actually seeing three unders that I think I'm liking. There's even a fourth one that I could be convinced of. But, all right, the first one I'm thinking about is, Toronto, Philly under, Toronto, Philly under, Clippers, Minnesota under, and New Orleans, Dallas under. The first one, Toronto, Philly under, it was 194 on the overnight. Now it's down to 192.5, so that makes me a little bit nervous. But Toronto, 2-8. Over-under over the last 8 games, and Philly 2 straight unders after a string of overs. They're having a bunch of injuries on offense, so I'm thinking that this one more likely than not, again, goes under. But then again, 192.5 is kind of getting down there. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I know Kyle Lowry's questionable for Toronto. He a key player. Philadelphia, as we said, they really don't have any weapons left. They're either hurt or injured, and they didn't really have many weapons to begin with. But, you know, the Sixers are a team that actually does play some half-decent defense, so it's tough to disagree with that. The Clippers, I think you mentioned that game under, they've been playing pretty well, surprisingly, without Blake Griffin, but there's no question that they are missing his offensive production. He averages 22.5 points per game and even 5.1 assists. Now, there is one, like I said, I'm not big into trends myself, but I do like to, when the database spits out a good one, I'll let you know. And the Clippers have actually gone over to a 27-5 rate on the road, with at most one day of rest after a game in which they shot less than 45%, or when less than 45% of their baskets were assisted. But I wouldn't let that talk you out of going with the under there. Certainly, when a team is minus their best offensive weapon, the under is always quite tempting.
And then I'm also thinking about New Orleans, Dallas. Dallas 7 straight unders, and they're kind of having some disarray on their team. So I'm not sure how that affects, pace or likely scoring. New Orleans has actually kind of gone over, but they haven't been super high scoring. All their games have gone, under 200. I think all their games have gone under 200 in that overrun. They've kind of had a lot of games that have landed around 198. And, just feeling like this one, maybe a little bit modest scoring, 198. What do you think about that one, Joe?
Yeah, almost the same thing I just said about the Clippers. The Pelicans certainly been playing pretty well without their stud Anthony Davis. They've managed to actually cover 5 in a row without him, and he is rated as the #1 player in the NBA in terms of player efficiency, according to the metrics that Hollinger uses over on ESPN. The Sharps are going to be keeping an eye on Chandler Parsons. He's questionable. I think he's probably going to play for Dallas, but if it turns out he's not going to play, Dallas is actually going under all 6 games where he hasn't played. So, yeah, if you want to go with the theory, when a team is minus a big offensive weapon, we say that short-term they can rally around a guy not being there, but there's a point of diminishing return each and every day, and that would certainly seem to apply to Anthony Davis, and he is a great offensive weapon, so maybe betting the under, not too bad of an idea there.
All right, I still got to figure out what I'm going to make as my official picks for this show. What do you have for us today, Joe Duffy?
I'm actually going to go with the Brooklyn game to go under the total. We actually do have a pretty good angle there. Teams have gone under at an 896 and 735 rate, with 25 pushes going all the way back to March of 2000, when they had at least one day of rest after a win on the road in which they shot at least 50% from the field. So that would favor the under here. Obviously, Golden State It's tough to get value on the over. They play the fastest tempo in the NBA, and they were a high-scoring team, but you got to pay a premium there, so maybe Golden State total is going to be a little bit artificially high, so my free play will be on the under, Brooklyn and Golden State.
Yeah, that was the fourth one I was thinking about. Golden State's gone under in 8 of their last 9 games, and the Nets have been trending under as well, gone under in 8 of their last 11. And right now, 209, 209.5, and 210 are all widely available market-wide. So we can give you under 210 on that one. I guess I was just nervous because you never know when Golden State's going to explode for a huge offensive game, even on a back-to-back, right?
No, there's no question. As I said, when you look at possessions per game, the last time I checked, I didn't actually check this morning's update, but they have been literally right at the top as far as possessions per 48 minutes is how the stat is kept. So, you know, when you have a lot of possessions, you're going to have a pretty high-scoring game, but the fact that they've trended under is really a case of the odds makers adjusting to the fact that, have adjusted to the fact they are such a high-scoring team. And one of the things that we always explain is for a team that's been high-scoring and plays up-tempo, for them to go over the total, they pretty much have to exceed their statistics to date, and that's a little bit tough to do. That's why a lot of our best systems sometimes are counterintuitive, where teams like that are like good three-point shooting teams tend to go under, etc. That you have to realize that at times you have to think counterintuitively, because the odds makers know that the public like to bet up-tempo teams over, etc., and that's why you're going to get good value on betting Golden State under.
All right, Joe Duffy, well, we can give you under 210 for that one, so your free pick's going to be under 210 in Golden State, Brooklyn, and I think I'm going to take just 2 of the 3 unders I was leaning towards. I'm going to take under 198 in New Orleans, Dallas, and I'll take under 206.5 in Clippers, Minnesota, and Toronto, Philly, right now 192.5. I'll pass on that one, but we'll see how it turns out. Thanks so much, Joe Duffy. Talk to you again tomorrow.